What if fear no longer had any control over your life? Not just pushed aside for a while, not managed or reasoned with, but completely erased. Imagine waking up with no hesitation, no second guessing, and no inner voice telling you that you're not ready, not good enough, or not deserving. What would life look like then? What choices would you finally make? What dreams would you chase if fear wasn't standing in the way? See, fear isn't the real problem. It's the act of giving into it. Fear is natural. It's part of being human. It's a survival mechanism meant to keep us safe. But when you start obeying it, when you let it stop you from growing, you're not surviving. You're settling. Every time you choose comfort over progress, silence over courage, or safety over purpose, you lose a little piece of your power. You stay stuck. You pause your life not because you're weak, but because fear convinced you that standing still is safer than moving forward. But not today. Today, we call fear out for what it really is. A lie dressed up as caution. A voice that pretends to protect you, but actually holds you back. And we're not going to fight it with shallow positivity or fake motivation. We're going to fight it with truth, discipline, and a deep sense of purpose. A purpose that's bigger than your excuses. In the next few moments, you're going to learn how to stop running from fear and start facing it head on. You'll learn how to take action even when your hands are shaking. How to move forward before fear has time to settle in. How to shape your mindset so sharply, so intentionally, that fear has no place left to live. So take a deep breath. Step into this moment. Don't look back. This isn't just another pep talk. This is the day you bury your fear. For good. Let's be clear. Fear isn't your enemy. Fear is just a signal. It's built into you to alert you when something feels uncertain or risky. And in a way, it's done its job. It's kept you alive. But fear was never meant to make your decisions for you. It was never meant to be the one in charge. Yet too many people let it take the wheel. They let fear drive. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. Why life feels like it's going in circles. You feel fear when you're about to do something unfamiliar, something challenging, something meaningful. That's not weakness. That's your brain trying to keep you in the known, in the comfortable. But here's the truth. Fear isn't what holds you back. Inaction is. It's not the fear itself. It's the delay you create because of it. It's the moment you don't speak up. The idea you don't act on. The dream you keep putting off. Most people wait for the fear to vanish before they move. But it never does. Because courage doesn't show up before action. It's born because of it. The people who do big things, who change lives and leave legacies, they feel fear too, but they don't let it control them. They've learned that you don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear run the show. So from now on, fear can sit in the passenger seat, if it must. But it doesn't get to touch the wheel. Not anymore. Here's where the power really begins to shift. The more you face your fears, the smaller they become. Every time you take action while feeling afraid, you teach your brain a new lesson. That fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means this matters. It means you're close to something important. Each brave move you make rewires your mind. Your brain starts to understand that fear isn't danger. It's just a signal that you're growing. Fear loses strength when you stop avoiding it. You become someone who can't live inside because you've built the habit of moving forward before fear has a chance to take over. So the next time fear creeps up, don't try to get rid of it. Don't wait for it to disappear. Just act. Don't overthink. Don't analyze. Just take the step. Fear hates motion. And the second you move, it starts to weaken. Fear is a master at telling stories. Stories so convincing they sound like the truth. It whispers lies that feel real. Lies like, you're not ready, you're not good enough. If you try, you'll fail. If you speak, they'll laugh. If you dream big, you'll crash. And because these lies come in your own voice, you believe them. You repeat them so often they feel familiar. Not true, just familiar. Fear thrives in your imagination. It takes one moment of uncertainty and turns it into a full-blown disaster movie. You don't just fear a difficult conversation. You see it ending horribly. You don't just fear trying something new. You imagine yourself failing, publicly and permanently. And that's how fear wins. Not with facts, but with repetition. But here's your breakthrough. If fear is built through repetition, then so is confidence. If fear is a story, then you can write a better one. You can tell yourself the version where you speak up and get heard, where you leap and land, where you fall and rise even stronger. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and memory. If you can imagine failure, you can imagine victory. This is your real battlefield, not out there but in your mind. And the moment you stop accepting fear's script and start writing your own, you take your power back. You don't have to feel brave to act brave. You don't have to feel sure to move forward. You just have to stop giving fear the microphone. The voice in your head is powerful, but it doesn't always tell the truth. And the biggest lie it tells is that fear is your limit. It's not. It's your invitation. It's the sign that you're standing right at the edge of your growth. And what happens next? That's up to you. Fear grows strongest in silence, in darkness, and in avoidance. The more you avoid it, the more powerful it becomes. The more you try to outthink it, the louder it gets. Fear doesn't shrink with time, it shrinks with exposure. And this is where most people get stuck. They wait for fear to go away before taking action. They wait for courage to arrive before making the leap. But that's not how it works. Courage doesn't come before the leap. It comes because of it. Think of it like standing at the edge of a freezing cold pool. You can dip your toe in, walk away, come back tomorrow, and still feel the same chill. Or you can just jump, feel the shock, let your body adjust, and within seconds you're not afraid anymore. Why? Because you experienced what your mind exaggerated. That's exposure. It's not about being fearless, it's about being willing. Willing to step forward even when you're shaking. Willing to enter the unknown and say, this is where I grow. You kill fear not by running from it, but by leaning into it. You practice facing discomfort. You make the uncomfortable your new normal. And the more familiar it becomes, the less hold it has on you. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Show up, even when your heart pounds. Launch the idea, even if it's messy. Ask the question, even if you fear the answer. That's how you grow. That's how you rewire your reality. The first time you act while afraid, it feels terrifying. The second time, it feels uncomfortable. The 10th time, it's normal. And by the 100th time, it's freedom. The people you admire, the speakers, the leaders, the creatives, the risk takers, they didn't start fearless. They started scared. They just didn't stay scared. They built a new relationship with discomfort. They walked into the storm again and again until the thunder couldn't shake them anymore. Fear never completely disappears. It will visit again. But over time, you stop reacting to it. You stop flinching when it speaks. You stop shrinking when it rises. Because you've seen it too many times. You've walked through it too many times. And now you know it's just a feeling, a signal. It doesn't have the final word. You do. The only way out is through the fear, through the failure, through the resistance. You walk into the unknown not because you're fearless, but because you're focused. Because the life you want is on the other side of the lie that fear tried to sell you. And that life is worth walking through the storm to reach. If you want to truly defeat fear, you have to go to its root, your mind. Because fear doesn't start in the outside world, it starts in your thoughts. It grows in the silent stories you repeat to yourself. Stories like, I'm not ready, this is too risky, or what if I fail? These thoughts don't just float by, they shape your reality. They build invisible walls around your potential. But here's the truth, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them, questions them, and decides which ones get to stay. If you don't learn to guide your thoughts, they'll start guiding you. And fear? It's the most persistent one in the group. It speaks with authority it didn't earn. But once you realize that thoughts are just suggestions, not commands, everything changes. When fear says, you're not ready, answer with says who. When it says, you might fail, respond, then I'll learn. Flip the script. Interrupt the pattern. Every thought is a seed, and what you water will grow. If you keep watering fear, you'll harvest hesitation. But if you water courage, if you fill your mind with strength, focus and vision, then confidence becomes your new normal. This isn't about pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about training your mind like a warrior. Athletes train their bodies. Soldiers train their instincts. You must train your thoughts. Use affirmations like armor. Speak power over your life. Visualize success until it feels familiar. Declare it until it becomes your identity. Say things like, I act even when I'm afraid. I don't shrink. I grow, and I rise, no matter what. Your subconscious is always listening. So don't just think these words, live them. Let your actions match your beliefs. When you speak up despite the nerves, when you move forward even with doubt, your mind gets the message. This is who we are now. That's how identity is built. That's how fear loses its grip. You're not weak because you feel fear, but you stay stuck if you let fear lead. So discipline your mind. Guard your thoughts. Choose which stories get to grow. Because fear may knock, but it only stays if you open the door. Train your thoughts, or your fears will train you. The choice has always been yours. What if fear wasn't a red light, but a green one? What if the very thing you're avoiding is exactly what you're meant to do? Most people think fear means stop, don't speak up, don't take the risk, don't go there. But in reality, fear is often a compass. It points you toward growth, not danger. The fire in your chest, the tension in your gut, that isn't weakness. That's your soul telling you this is important. Those moments where your hands tremble, your heart races, and your voice wavers, that's not a sign to run. That's a sign you're standing on the edge of something powerful. Because the things that scare you the most usually hold the greatest rewards. Speaking your truth, starting that business, ending what's toxic, stepping into your purpose. These aren't threats, they're doorways. And the key that opens them isn't perfection or certainty. It's movement. It's that one step forward, even if your legs shake. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move even when you are. So the next time fear shows up, don't run, lean in. Let it sharpen you. Let it push you. Let it burn away your excuses. That resistance you feel, it means you're getting close to something that matters. You're brushing up against your next level. And that pressure you feel isn't the end. It's the beginning of something new. Here's something most people will never tell you. The fear never completely disappears. Not for the brave, not for the successful, not even for the legends. They just stopped letting it rule them. They learned to walk forward with the fear still present. They made peace with it. And through that, they found freedom. Not because fear left, but because they moved anyway. So the next time fear rises, thank it. Say, I see you, and then take the step anyway. Make the call. Start the project. Say the thing. Take the chance. Because the moment you lean toward the fear is the moment it starts to fade. And what's left behind, that's your freedom. This is how real transformation happens. Not through the absence of fear, but by walking forward in its presence. Every time you do, you prove to yourself that fear is not your master. You are. And that shift, that decision to move, is where everything changes. Here's the truth most people avoid. You won't become fearless by waiting to feel brave. You don't overcome fear with feelings. You overcome it with discipline. Motivation is great, but it's temporary. It's a spark. Discipline, on the other hand, is the fire that keeps burning long after motivation fades. It's the quiet force that keeps you moving when everything in you wants to stop. If you only act when you feel ready, you'll rarely move. But if you act because it must be done, you become powerful. That's what makes someone unstoppable. Courage isn't some lightning strike. It's a choice, a daily choice, to rise when it's hard, to do the uncomfortable thing again and again, even when fear is screaming in your head. The most successful people, the ones who seem unshakable, they don't wait to feel confident. They act, and confidence catches up. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They move through it. And over time, fear learns it has no place there. Because when you develop the discipline to move regardless of how you feel, fear loses its ability to negotiate with you. Discipline silences fear. Why? Because it removes the debate. There's no more should I or what if. The decision is already made. The alarm goes off. You get up. The task is hard. You do it anyway. The doubt whispers. You walk forward. That's what builds the fearless mindset. Not talk, not hype, repetition, action, movement. Each time you act in the face of fear, your mind rewires itself. It starts to recognize fear not as a danger, but as data. Not something to obey, but something to use. Ask yourself, are you living by feelings or by principles? If fear still decides what you do, then it's time to shift. Create routines that train your mind. Fill your environment with reminders of your goals. Keep your promises to yourself, because when you do something bold every single day, even something small, you build a reputation with yourself. You begin to believe, I am the kind of person who doesn't fold under fear. And that belief, that's your new identity. Discipline builds consistency. Consistency makes you unstoppable. And when you're unstoppable, fear has nowhere left to hide. Picture this. You're lying at the end of your life, moments from the finish line. Around you aren't just memories, there are ghosts. The ghosts of every dream you didn't pursue, every version of you that could have been, every risk you never took. And they're all staring at you, silently asking the same question. Why did you let fear decide? That's the real cost of fear. It doesn't just take your moments. It steals your legacy. It convinces you to play it safe, to settle, to hold back when your spirit wanted to break free. It doesn't come with alarms or warnings. It hides behind comfort, behind logic, behind maybe later. But every time you obey it, you bury a part of your greatness. Most people don't realize they're choosing fear. They think they're choosing safety, familiarity, but really they're choosing regret in advance. No one remembers the person who played it safe. No one builds statues for the ones who stayed quiet, who avoided risk. The world remembers those who moved in spite of fear, who stepped forward with trembling hands and shaky voices, but still moved anyway. Fear will always offer you comfort, but legacy? That demands something more. It demands pain, risk, sacrifice. It demands that you choose long-term purpose over short-term ease. So ask yourself honestly, what will your story say when you're gone? Will it whisper missed chances and silent regrets? Or will it roar with the sound of someone who lived with fire in their chest and purpose in their steps? You don't need the whole path figured out. You just need to stop letting fear have the final word. Because your legacy is being written right now. And whether it ends in silence or strength, that's your choice. If fear is the lie, then your daily habits are the truth. You don't defeat fear in one dramatic moment. You defeat it through daily decisions. The fearless are not born, they're built. And they build themselves through small, intentional rituals that train their mind and body to keep moving, no matter what. Start simple. Each morning, do one uncomfortable thing. It doesn't have to be extreme, just something that stretches you. Take the cold shower, make the tough phone call, speak your truth. Why? Because your nervous system needs training. And once you learn to handle discomfort, fear begins to lose its grip. Keep moving. That's how you break the grip of fear. Start with your body. Run, stretch, walk, lift. Motion kills fear because fear thrives in stillness. It feeds off hesitation. When you move your body, your energy rises, your mind clears, and your spirit sharpens. You remind fear that it no longer has a home in a life that's active, disciplined, and driven. Then speak life into your mind. Stand tall and affirm your power every day. Not because it's trendy or cute, but because repetition rewires belief. Say it out loud. I am not here to shrink. I am here to lead. I do hard things. I rise anyway. At first it may feel awkward, but over time, your mind listens. And when your actions match your words, your entire identity shifts. Next, win the first battle of the day. Make your bed. Show up on time. Do that task you've been avoiding. Every small win stacks up. And when you stack enough wins, you build a mountain of momentum. And momentum is the greatest enemy of fear. At the end of each day, pause and reflect. Where did fear whisper today? And where did I push back? This is how you sharpen. This is how you become someone that fear cannot shake. The fearless life doesn't happen by chance. It's created with effort, with practice, with deep self-respect. You don't need to wait to feel brave anymore. Today, you lay fear to rest, for good. Because fear only lives in the spaces where you give it permission. And now you're done feeding it. You're done giving it a vote in your life. You're done shrinking to make others comfortable or to play small just to feel safe. You weren't born to hide. You were born to rise, to walk through fire and come out stronger. And that moment, it's not in the future. It's now. This is your beginning, right here, right now. Take that first step, then another, and another, until you forget what it felt like to let fear make your decisions for you. And when fear comes knocking again, and it will, you'll smile, because now you know it's game. You've trained, you've faced it, you've outgrown it. Fear no longer gets a seat at your table. Only your mission does, only your purpose. So stand up, breathe deep, and look fear in the face one last time. Say thank you for the lessons, and goodbye for good. Because you're not just fearless, you're free. And this is just the beginning.